Honorable Judge Don R. Ash presiding. Thank you. May be seated.
Anything from the defense, anything there before we bring the jury back in?
Judge, just a quick thing. I know we asked for the rule, but in today's modern age with live streaming, people could be outside, people could be in another room.
I guess you can ask them about.
Okay.
I think we told our people not to be.
Not supposed to be doing that. Anything for you, Joe?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Justin, step back in, please.
Rise to the jury, please.
Thank you, seat, please. We're playing all our jurors in return. Hope you all have a nice lunch. And counsel, who's our next witness?
Mark Wilson. You're right.
Sir, please step next to me, please. Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Good, see? Please tell me both your first name and last name, spell both.
Kenneth Mark Wilson, KENNETHMARK WILSON.
Questions?
Mr. Wilson, where are you employed?
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And what is your position there?
I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for the East Criminal Investigation Division.
And that would be referred to as the ASAC, is that right?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And Agent Wilson, you've been the ASAC for how long now?
Since February of this year.
Okay. Prior to that, were you what we refer to as a field agent?
That is correct, yes,
Could you
sir.
briefly describe your law enforcement background for the jurors?
I began my career in law enforcement in 1995 with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I was employed there as a correctional officer. I worked there until 2004. During my time at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, I was promoted from correctional officer to road officer. Worked on the road. Eventually was promoted to sergeant on night shift. And from there, I was promoted again to detective. And then I was hired with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And when were you hired with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
In 2004, May of 2004.
And you have completed the TBI agent school?
Yes, sir.
And I believe, Agent Wilson, you attend various ongoing trainings?
That is correct.
And how long have you been working this area?
14 years.
And you were assigned originally when you came out with TBI to what counties?
Marion and Sequatchie.
And now as the Assistant Special Agent in charge, you're working more of a regional area, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
I want to refer you to the case we're here on today involving the death of Jerry Ridge, which occurred on May 17th of 2016. And were you notified about to come to that particular scene?
Yes, I was.
And how were you notified?
I was notified by phone from Detective Blanchett.
And do you remember approximately what time you were notified?
Approximately 6:45 p.m.
And what did you do once you got the notification?
I responded to the scene.
And what was the situation, Agent Wilson, when you arrived at the scene?
When I arrived on the scene, I met with other investigators. They had the area cordoned off with crime scene tape. Fire personnel was still on the scene. I met briefly with the investigators. We did a preliminary walkthrough of the pawn shop. I viewed where the deceased victim was. We exited the pawn shop. I spoke with William Barker, who is a bomb and arson investigator. Investigator Barker had already began processing the scene by taking photographs. Since he had started photographing, I began doing a crime scene video of the exterior. We went around the exterior. Once I completed my video, and Investigator Barker had completed his photographs of the exterior, completed inside the business together. While inside the business and doing my crime scene video, Noticed large amounts of what appeared to be blood on a filing cabinet. Kind of panned around and observed what appeared also to be blood on a store counter and a receipt book. At that point in time, I decided to discontinue the crime scene processing, back out, and call for additional help from our violent crimes response team.
Let me show you 3 photographs, and I'll ask if you can identify these 3 photographs. Just
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Okay. All right, we would mark these as 3 photographs. Exhibit 23, Exhibit 24, and Exhibit 25. And we will start with Exhibit 23, and that is 6997. Jack. Put that up on the screen. Agent Wilson, we put on the screen what's been marked as Exhibit 23, and can you describe to the jury what we're looking at? And if you need a pointer, there's one up here.
This is the filing cabinet that I observed. This here is what I believe to be blood. And this is what I initially observed when I was doing my crime scene video.
Judge, this needs to be in evidence, I think. I'm no objection, I don't believe this is in evidence.
Just introduce them. Exhibit 23. And I'll direct your attention to, that was actually Exhibit 24, and I'll direct your attention to, sorry, that was 23, Exhibit 24. You would put that up on the screen, that's 7085. And can you describe what we're looking at in Exhibit 24?
Yes, this was the store countertop that appears to be large amounts of blood smears. Here, this was a receipt book that we observed here with large, what appears to be blood on the receipt book.
Would you bring up the Exhibit 25? This is another photograph of the same area.
Yes, sir. This is a close-up view of the receipt book. And, not sure exactly what that is there.
And once you observed these items, you felt it was best to back out of the scene. Is that right?
That's correct.
And Agent Wilson, once you got out of the scene, what steps did you take to work the crime scene?
I notified my supervisor and requested the VCRT team to respond. He notified Nashville, and he took care of all that for us.
And were you there when the VCRT team arrived?
No, sir. I was not on the scene at that time.
Okay. Did you have phone conversations with Agent Hodge about the scene?
I did, yes.
Okay. And once you backed out of the scene and called for the VCRT, was anybody else in the crime scene doing anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Just waiting for those folks to come and work it?
That's correct.
Okay. Let me show you 2 other photographs. I'll just ask if you can identify these.
Yes, sir.
Mark the next one as Exhibit 26 and Exhibit 27. Chad, if you would put 7006 on Exhibit 26. And can you describe to the jury what we're looking at in that photograph?
This was a safe that was in the front part of the store.
And obviously extensive fire damage.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And if you could put up 3860. describe what we're looking at in that photograph?
Yes, sir. This was a Zippo lighter fluid can that was found within the scene.
Okay. And that's an item that was ultimately submitted to the crime lab?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And of the items submitted to the crime lab, Agent Wilson, did you later collect those and bring them back and check them into evidence in Marion County?
Yes, sir, I did.
At some point during the evening, did you come into contact with the defendant, Angela Kilgore?
Yes, sir.
And where did you locate Ms. Kilgore?
At the raceway in Whitwell.
And when you got to the raceway in Whitwell, how did you happen to go there? Were you notified that she was there, or do you know?
We received information that she was at that location.
And when you got to the raceway, was she in the store, or where was she?
She was in the restroom of the business.
And once you got there, how long was it before she came out?
She was in there for some time.
More than just a minute or so?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And she ultimately came out, and did you ask her to come down to the Whitwell Police Department?
Yes, we spoke with Miss Kilgore and asked her to, if she would speak with us concerning this investigation, and ask her to come down to the Whitwell Police Department.
And did she do that?
Yes, she did.
She drove her own vehicle, is that right?
That is correct.
Let me show you several photographs, and I'll ask if you can identify these.
Yes, sir.
Now, we would mark these as starting with Exhibit 28, Exhibit 29, Exhibit 30, 31, 32, 39, 34. We have brought up what's been marked as Exhibit 28. And can you describe what we're looking at in that photograph?
Yes, this is a front picture of Miss Kilgore.
And that was taken at the police department the evening the fire occurred.
Yes, sir.
And this would have been taken either late in the 17th or the early morning hours of the 18th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. You would bring up the next photograph, please, which would be Exhibit 28. Exhibit 29. And can you describe what we're looking at in that picture, and when was it taken?
This was taken on the same date, either the 17th or early morning hours of the 18th.
Let me ask you, was this picture taken contemporaneously with the picture we just saw in Exhibit 28?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what are we looking at in that photograph?
You see a slash cut on Miss Kilgore's, looks like her left hand, on the palm.
And if you would, Chad, bring up Exhibit 30. And would you describe what we're looking at in Exhibit 30? And just for the record, all these photographs were taken at the police department that evening.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And what are we looking at here? This is Ms. Kilgore?
Yes, this is Miss Kilgore's right hand. Appears to be blood coming through, bandage on her finger here, and also see Band-Aids on both these fingers here.
Let's bring up the next exhibit, B31. And Agent Wilson, I notice there's a ruler type device in there. And what are we looking at? Again, this is Miss Kilgore.
This here is her finger. We asked that she remove the gauze from her finger that was bandaged up, and we laid a measuring device beside it to measure the injury to her finger.
We'll bring up exhibit 32, please. And what are we looking at here? Again, this is Miss Kilgore the night at the police department, is that correct?
Yes, this is brown boots that she had on when we had her at the police department.
Did you also make photographs of her motor vehicle?
Yes, we did.
You bring up Exhibit 33. And this picture, Exhibit 33, appears to be a red Chevrolet pickup truck. And is that Miss Kilgore standing beside it?
Yes, sir.
And I believe that's her dog.
That's correct.
And this was taken the evening of May 17th or the early morning hours of May 18th. Is that correct?
It would be the early morning hours of the 18th, yes.
And Agent Wilson, there is a Confederate license plate in the front of that truck. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And if we bring up Exhibit 34, and this is another view of the truck, and are there some sort of decals or something in the back window of the truck?
There's a decal in both the lower right and left corner of the back glass.
Agent Wilson, on the next day, did you all obtain a search warrant for her residence?
Yes, we did.
And did you go with the officers to execute that search warrant?
Yes, I did.
And Agent Wilson, I'm going to show you several photographs, and I'll ask if you can identify those.
Yes, sir.
We would mark these as the next exhibits, and I'll put them on the screen. Chad 3990 will be exhibit 35. We're looking at exhibit 35, Agent Wilson, and can you recognize that picture? Can you describe to the jurors what we're looking at?
This here is saddles that we found in the garage area, or residence where Miss Kilgore was staying, where the search warrant was executed.
Did you have an indication at that time that she had taken either, that she had bought or come into possession of 4 or 5 saddles from the pawn shop?
Yes, sir.
And if you would bring up the next exhibit, which would be number 36, can you describe to the jurors what we're looking at there?
This is a saw here, a bandsaw, that we also found when we executed the search warrant.
And those were items that were reflected on a receipt that you had seen from the pawn shop.
Yes, that's correct.
And if we look at exhibit 37, and what are we looking at in this picture?
Looks like a generator, pressure washer.
Is a pressure washer one of the items?
I don't recall.
Okay. You also, were you with the agents on May the 19th when she was taken into custody?
Yes, I was.
Okay. You were on that team?
Yes,
Detective Johnson was there and several other folks.
that is correct.
And Agent Wilson, let me show you a series of photographs, and I'll ask if you can identify those.
Yes.
All right, that will start with exhibit number 38. Now we've got 39. 40. 41. 42. 44. And 45. I'm going to help hand you Exhibit 18. Is that the buccal swab or the buccal swab which you obtained from Ms. Kilgore?
Yes, sir, that's what's marked on the back.
And that would have been when you took the other pictures we saw a minute ago.
That's correct.
Okay. Wilson, I brought up Exhibit 38, and can you describe to the jurors what we're looking at in this picture?
This was the photograph of the front of Miss Kilgore's truck, which was taken on the 19th of May, 2016, upon her arrest.
And was this at Foster Falls?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. And I noticed there is not a Confederate license plate on the front.
That is correct.
Bring up Exhibit 39. And again, what are we looking at in this photograph?
This is a photograph of the back glass of her pickup truck, but you notice the decals or stickers are no longer there.
Go to Exhibit number 40.
Excuse me.
We have Exhibit 40 on the screen, and Agent Wilson, describe what the jurors are looking at in this photograph.
This is a bag that contained several weapons, pistols, revolvers, and it was located in the back of her pickup truck along with 2 coolers.
And if you would bring up Exhibit 41. And what are we looking at in Exhibit 41, Agent Wilson?
These are photographs of all the guns that came out of the black bag that was in the back of her pickup truck.
Was there one gun which was not in the bag, which was found in a different location?
Yes, sir. This gun here, this Glock, there was a Glock that was found in the back seat in a green duffel bag in the back of her pickup truck.
Bring up Exhibit 43. Brought up Exhibit 43. Is that the Glock handgun
Yes, sir.
that was found in the duffel bag?
Yes, sir, along with the license plate.
And would you bring up Exhibit 42? And can you describe in Exhibit 42 what we're looking at?
It's a Confederate flag license plate that was once on the front of her vehicle, we believed.
And if you would go to Exhibit 44. And Agent Wilson, what are we looking at in Exhibit 44?
This was a Zippo lighter fluid can that was found in her in the interior of her vehicle, which matched the Zippo lighter fluid can, a similar type fluid that we found within the crime scene.
If you would bring up Exhibit 45, please.
This picture here is just the interior passenger seat of her vehicle. You see a phone and
And these photos actually were taken at Foster Falls, is that right?
yes, sir, that's correct.
And Agent Wilson, you all had a search warrant for the truck, and where was the truck initially transported to?
The truck was transported after our initial search here at the Foster Falls. The vehicle was transported to the SRT building, impound lot here in, belongs to the Sheriff's Department here in Jasper.
And from there, where was it transported?
I followed the vehicle, which was on a rollback, followed the vehicle to the TBI crime lab in Nashville.
And was that for processing by the forensic scientists there?
Yes, sir, it was.
A couple of things. I hand you Exhibit 20, the bullet from the right arm of the victim, and is that an item that you collected from the medical examiner's office?
Yes, it's what's marked on the back.
Yes, and you would have submitted that to the TBI lab for analysis.
Yes, sir.
And I will also show you a blood spot from Jerry Ridge. Did you collect that from the medical examiner's office?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you submit that to the crime lab for their analysis?
Yes.
And if we could make the blood spot the next numbered exhibit, move that into evidence. What number is that, Ann? 46. 46. firearms, do you want to make those a collective exhibit?
Sure.
Let me show you, first of all, 3 bags containing firearms, and can you identify them?
Yes, sir. Item 46 is a Desert Eagle 9mm semi-automatic pistol.
You have and mark that post numbering on it. Do a collective on these. Showing Kenneth 47A, and I'll ask the court reporter to mark the next 2 as B and C. Can you identify that item?
This is the one I just
Yes,
identified.
you just go back through it again, just for the record.
Yes, sir. It's marked item 46, a Desert Eagle 9mm semi-automatic pistol, serial number 423-07386, found in black bag in Angela Kilgore's truck with RBS.
And the 47D and 47B, are they also firearms?
Yes, sir.
And those particular, all these firearms, 47A, B, and C, were they all obtained from the defendant's truck?
From the black bag in the back of the truck,
Black bag?
yes.
Okay. And were those items, you noticed, you mentioned RBS, were they submitted to the crime lab for analysis?
Yes, sir. What RBS is reddish-brown stains.
Which you believe could be blood?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And that's why you submitted to the TBI lab?
That is correct.
There were an additional 12 guns,
Yes,
and those were not submitted to the crime lab, is that right?
that's correct.
And that's because you did not notice the presence of RBS?
That is correct.
And if we have those guns, we'll mark those as the next exhibit. And I'm just going to hand Agent Wilson the bag and let him do all the guns. Agent Wilson, if you'll just stop at the top and we'll call the first one you pull out, Exhibit 47B.
This is a Heritage Rough Rider 22 long rifle revolver, serial number HZ92510, with brown leather holster and belt, found in black bag in Angela Kilgore's truck.
We'll next look at what will be marked as 47E.
This is a Black Ops revolver from black bag in the truck. This was actually a pellet BB gun.
That did not go to the crime lab.
No, sir.
So next look at what will be 47F.
This one is identified as a Ruger Blackhawk 45 caliber revolver, serial number 48-19738, found in black bag in Angela Kilgore's truck.
Next will be 47G.
This was a Bracco Arms 380 pistol, serial number 1565693, from black bag in the truck.
Next will be 47B.
This is a Taurus PT 740 40 caliber, serial number SEW09382, from black bag.
Next will be 47I.
This is a Smith & Wesson 40 caliber M&P 40 Shield pistol, serial number HVF2654 from Black Bag in Truck.
Next would be 47K.
I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this type of weapon. It's spelled CHIAPPA, model 1873. It's a .22 revolver, serial number 126-09541.
Next would be 47K.
This is a Smith & Wesson SD 40 VE pistol, serial number HEC 9467 from Black Bag and Truck.
Next would be 47L.
This was the Glock 27 40 caliber, serial number GCF062 from green duffel bag inside truck.
Next would be 47M.
This is a Taurus PT709 9mm pistol, serial number TEZ15249.
Next would be 47N.
This one is a Taurus PT140 Pro 40 caliber semi-automatic pistol, serial number SFN36535.
Next would be 47O.
This was a Taurus PT740 40 caliber pistol, serial number SDS69923 from Black Bag and Truck.
One more.
This is a Taurus PT111, looks like GZ 9mm pistol, serial number looks like TIR30366.
And as far as the guns, other than the guns that went to the crime lab, where did they go?
They were placed in evidence here.
In Marion County?
At the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Agent Wilson, Kilgore was taken into custody on the 19th, and did you obtain some items of evidence from the corrections staff that had been taken from her?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And let me show you some photographs first of all. I'll just ask if you can identify these.
Yes, sir.
We will start with Exhibit 48. Looking at Exhibit 48, and can you describe for the jury what it is we're looking at in that photograph?
This is a photograph of a, looks like a three-bladed case pocket knife. It was taken from Ms. Kilgore here at the Sheriff's Office, property here at the jail. And this is a black lock blade knife that was also taken from Miss Kilgore.
And the black lock blade knife, there was no forensic evidence found on that, is that correct?
That's correct.
We could look at Exhibit 49. And would you describe to the jurors what we are looking at in this photograph?
This is personal effects of Miss Kilgore. This was like a handwritten note. This was her driver's license. You can't hardly see it because of the note. Her wallet along with miscellaneous cards and personal effects. Coin change. Looks like a chapstick. Sunglasses. I can't really tell what that is from here. That's the two knives.
And if you would bring up Exhibit 50. And what are we looking at in Exhibit 50?
This is currency, cash money that was collected from Miss Kilgore from her personal effects. Dollar bills, I believe four $1 bills, a $10 bill, a $100 bill. If you look at the $1 bill at the top, you see the RBS, reddish brown stains, which is believed to be blood here on this $1 bill. Also, you see it here on this $1 bill. I believe there was some on the $100 bill. That is a 10.
It would be the 100.
Yeah, I don't see it on that one.
Now come down here where you can see better. That would be the RBS, and you submitted those 3 bills to the TBI Crime Lab.
Yes, sir.
And you also would have submitted the knife and you submitted both knives actually.
Yes.
Bring up Exhibit 51. And what is this, Agent Wilson, Exhibit 51?
This is a handwritten receipt, or a handwritten note. You see total $3,275, $350. Total, I guess here, $29.25. It says Angela Kilgore by Jerry Ridge, 3916.
And was that found in her effects?
Yes, it was.
If you would bring up Exhibit 52, please. Would you describe, first of all, was this found in her possessions when she was taken into custody?
That is correct, yes, sir.
And what are we looking at there, Agent Wilson?
This is a receipt, which appears to be the top receipt that was matching the receipt book in the crime scene. It's dated for 5/17/2016. It says Angela Kilgore, an amount of $4,000 for 4 saddles, bandsaw, pressure washer, promissory note.
It's like a box of miscellaneous tack.
Yes, box of miscellaneous tack and miter saw.
That was in her possession when she was arrested.
Yes, sir. His initial JR.
And you, if not marked, we'll ask can you identify what that is.
This is a receipt from the wallet dated 5/17/2016, item 36.
And is that the receipt we're looking at in Exhibit 52?
Prefer to open it.
You can open it, that'd be fine. Need scissors?
Yes, sir, please.
Some scissors, Bob? We got it. proceed, we're looking at it on the screen, Exhibit 52.
Yes, sir.
And if we could mark that as the next exhibit, we place it back in the bag. Yeah. Yeah, I'll ask the clerk if she can put a little bit of tape on this just to seal it back on. I'm going to hand you next, and this is not marked as an exhibit yet. You have Ian go ahead and mark this container as exhibit 54. And can you describe what we're looking at in exhibit 54 in this big can?
Yes, sir. The description on the canister says it's brown boots. These were the brown boots that were collected from Miss Kilgore.
And are those the same boots we see in this picture?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay. And were those submitted to the TBI lab for analysis?
Yes, sir, there was.
Did you do that yourself?
Yes, I did.
And that's remove exhibit 54 into evidence. Wilson, I'm going to hand you what appears to be marked as the black lock blade knife. Can you identify that object?
Yes, sir. This is the black lock blade knife from Angela Kilgore.
And is that obtained from the jail staff?
Yes, it was.
And she was taken into custody. And we're looking at the photo on the screen. Is that the same knife?
It would be this knife here. Yes, sir.
If we would mark that as the next exhibit, which would be 55. Hand you what appears to be a case 3-bladed knife, and I'll ask if you can identify that object.
Yes, item 38, case 3-bladed knife taken from Angela Kilgore by the jail staff here at the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
And is that the knife that we have up on the screen that we saw a few minutes ago, the 3-bladed knife?
Yes, sir.
And Agent Wilson, did you submit that to the TBI lab for analysis?
Yes, I did.
And on all these objects that you sent to the lab, did you then, when the lab was done with their work, would you get these items back and submit them into evidence here?
Yes, I did.
We would mark that as the next exhibit, which should be 56. Wilson, I'm going to hand you what appears to be evidence bags for the United States currency. Can you identify those items?
This one is a $100 bill with RBS taken from Angela Kilgore.
Okay.
This next item is marked as item 42. It's a $1 bill with RBS from Angela Kilgore. Wrote the number down on the bill, K205-27697J. This one here is I've marked as item 41. It's also a dollar bill with RBS. Number on it is L35123-159D from Angela Kilgore.
And did you submit these to the TBI lab for analysis?
Yes, sir, I did.
Your Honor, if we would mark the $100 bill with a black exhibit on these, that's 57A. The $1 bill with the serial number starting L35 would be 57B. And the $1 bill with the serial number starting K205 would be 57C. I'm going to hand you a handwritten note for payment, and I'll ask you to identify that object.
It's identified as item 37, handwritten note for payment. taken on 5/19/2016 from the jail staff, by the jail staff.
Is that the item we're seeing on the screen?
Yes, sir.
And that item was not submitted to the lab for analysis?
No, sir.
And we've marked it as Exhibit 58. Wilson, was a knife later recovered from the pawn shop and submitted to TBI lab for analysis?
Yes, sir.
And I will hand you, let's go ahead and mark this as Exhibit 59. I'll hand you Exhibit 59 and I'll ask, can you identify that?
Yes, sir. This is marked as item number 6. It was collected on the 18th, May 18th, 2016. It's a knife with black handle with RBS and impression, stainless steel, near the front door of the entrance of the business.
And did you submit that to the lab for analysis?
Yes, sir, I did.
And that did not come back to Ms. Kilgore, is that correct?
That is correct.
And we have the forensic scientist here, but who did that come back to?
We requested latent prints on this particular item, and the latent print came back identified to a gentleman named Jeremiah Tutherow.
And did you investigate whether Mr. Tutherow had any role in this particular homicide?
Yes, we did.
And Agent Wilson, were you able to eliminate him as a suspect?
Yes.
And also, did you also obtain a gunshot residue kit, otherwise known as a GSR kit, which had been taken from Ms. Kilgore?
Agent Barker collected the kit from Ms. Kilgore on the 17th of May.
Would that have been during the time that the photographs were taken?
Yes, sir.
That encounter with her? And did you submit that to the TBI lab?
Yes, sir, I did.
And we would mark that as Exhibit 60. And I'll show you that. Is that what you submitted to the TBI lab in terms of GSR kit?
Yes, sir.
And that was analyzed by the lab, and I believe those folks are here to talk about it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is, analyzing those is not your field of expertise, is it?
No, sir.
Just a moment, Your Honor. Sure. Yeah, that would be my direct. We're just double checking just the vast amount of evidence. If I could let Mr. Lipton cross-examine, he may have another item. I think we have everything, but we just want to be thorough.
That cross-examination?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilson, a couple things. Let's start with her being interviewed at the Whitwell Police Station. You were present, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And you went to the raceway to meet her, correct?
Can we approach? Sure.
You went to the Whitwell Police Department, let me back up. You went to Raceway, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you saw Miss Kilgore
Yes, sir.
at the, she was cooperative with you?
She was.
Went with you to the Whitwell Police Department?
Yes, sir, she did.
You talked to her for probably 45 minutes, something like that. I'm not asking about the details of the conversation. Okay. She went with you basically willing to the police department, correct?
She was cooperative, yes.
And she showed you asked to see you or Mr. Barker asked to see her truck,
That is correct, yes.
and you looked in her truck,
Yes, we did.
and you didn't arrest her then.
No, sir, we didn't.
You didn't see any guns in the back of her truck.
No, sir.
Now, you were up when you went to the search warrant. Let me withdraw the question. This is a bright red truck, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, at some point in time, did you receive information about another gun in the pawn shop that you sent to the crime lab?
We received information from the forensic scientist, Laura Hodge, concerning, and also from the type of bullet that was recovered from the victim. After the examination was conducted by the forensic scientist, we were notified that it was the bullet matched a .25 caliber type handgun, and we did submit another .25 caliber handgun to the lab.
Where'd you get it from?
Mr. Sharp.
When did you get it?
I'll have to refer to my notes. Give me just a second. This item was collected from Mr. Sharp on or about the 29th of August of 2016.
And that was recovered from the pawn shop, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you aware that there were weapons found in a van outside the pawn shop?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe those weapons for the jury?
I can't. No, sir.
Well, they were found that night, weren't they?
I didn't find them. No, sir.
Law enforcement found them, correct?
I knew there were weapons inside the vehicle. I'd heard. We did not collect those.
Okay. Do you know what kind of van?
No, sir. I don't recall.
You don't recall the type, you don't recall the amount, or anything like that. Would that be fair?
That's correct.
But they were in a van parked on Mr. Ridge's lot, correct?
Yes, sir.
Found pretty contemporaneously with this fire.
I know there were weapons inside the van on the lot. Yes.
Do you know what happened to him?
No, sir, I don't. As far as I know, Mr. Sharp collected those when the scene was released to the family.
You didn't realize it when you examined the crime scene, correct?
I didn't process the scene. It was conducted by the VCRT team.
VCRT team didn't find it to your knowledge, correct?
That's correct.
There were 2 knives you got from the jail staff, correct?
That is correct.
The 2 knives that you got from Ms. Paige Durham, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Did you get them, or did Mr. Johnson get them?
I believe on the bag it's identified as myself as obtaining those from Ms. Durham.
All right. Do you know what happened before they went into your custody?
No, sir.
You don't know who they were handled by? Is that correct?
I have no idea.
You don't know whether she willingly gave them up or not?
Your Honor, object to the relevancy of the matter.
She's coming into a jail facility, so I assume she would give them up if she had.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. You were present at the scene of her arrest that brought her into the jail, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was up at Foster Falls.
That is correct.
And you certainly were not the only law enforcement officer there, correct?
That is correct.
And she was placed into handcuffs up there, correct?
Yes, sir.
And part of the procedure when somebody is placed into handcuffs is to pat them down and search them, correct?
Yes, that's standard procedure.
So she didn't have any weapons on her then, did she?
I didn't search her.
You see who put the weapons in the truck, in the back of the truck?
Could you clarify the question?
Were weapons, guns, was placed in evidence found in the back of her truck?
Could you repeat the question, please, sir?
Sure. You marked a whole bunch of weapons just a few minutes ago. Were they found in the back of her truck, in the bed of her truck?
Yes, these items were found in the back of her truck, yes.
Okay. You didn't see who actually placed them in there, did you?
No, sir, I didn't.
Okay. And then there's the back seat of her truck, correct? Behind the driver's seat, correct? There were some weapons?
There was a green duffel bag in the back of the truck that contained a Glock pistol.
Okay. And we say the back of the truck, that's not the bed of the truck, that's...
In the back seat.
Right. And you didn't see who put that there?
No, I didn't.
And this black lock blade knife, it's a pretty big knife. I'll withdraw the question. Could you put up the black? There's a black lock blade knife at the bottom of the picture, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you got it and got it from her, did you think that was a murder weapon?
Initially, yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And did you think the case knife was a murder weapon?
Not initially, no, sir.
Okay. And the lock blade knife came back from forensic saying that they didn't have anything, correct? On the knife.
That is correct.
And then the case knife came back from forensics with stuff on it, correct? And when I say stuff, forensically speaking, it came back with blood stains and other things, correct?
Yes, sir. It came back with Mr. Ridge's DNA on it, as well as Ms. Kilgore's, if I do recall.
Okay. And then you kind of realized that maybe that was a murder weapon.
Appears so, yes, sir.
But you're not the pathologist, correct?
That is correct.
Now, were you present when the autopsy was done?
Yes, sir, I was.
Was there a shirt found that was brought by the Buddy Richardson service to the crimes? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Was there a shirt that was brought to the pathologist?
I don't recall.
Okay. You recall any discussions about having a blood-soaked shirt under the body of Mr. Ridge?
No, sir, I don't recall.
Do you recall seeing an extra bullet under the body of Mr. Ridge?
Yes, I do remember that, yes.
Okay. And can you tell us about that?
I just remember it was a bullet. I don't know the specifics, what
Okay.
type, caliber, or anything like that.
But no shirt?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Do you have any information that she was wearing Skechers or sneakers at the time of the incident?
Yes, sir, we received information that she was possibly could have been wearing Skechers.
Okay. And you collected Skechers from the truck, correct?
We did collect some Skechers, yes.
And there's something called a TBI scene evidence log, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you noted it in there, correct? Maybe?
Yes, there was a pair of black Skechers that were collected from the green duffel bag in the truck of Miss Kilgore.
That wasn't sent to the crime lab?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
That wasn't sent to the crime lab, the Skechers?
I don't believe there were, no, sir.
Was there a broken rifle found in the shop?
Yes.
Can you tell us, well, let me withdraw that. When was that found?
I didn't find it.
Well, when did you receive it into evidence?
Yes, sir, we did.
Do you recall from who?
I received that from former Chief of Police Rodney Easterly.
And when did you receive that? Was it shortly after the crime?
Yes, it was. Correction, I want to make a correction on that. I believe I received that from, it was either William Barker with Bauman Arson or former Chief of Police Rodney Easterly.
And it was, I believe, a Kmart rifle?
Yes, sir.
It had hair and fiber in it? Would that be fair?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you send it off to the lab to be tested?
Yes, sir, I did.
What'd you ask to be, and you asked for fiber analysis of that?
If I may review my notes, lab reports. I requested latent prints and also serology on that item,
Did you,
and also microanalysis.
was the stock broken on that?
The gun was broken, yes.
And when you were asked on direct about Mr. Tetherow, you cleared him based upon an interview with a probation officer, is that correct?
Myself and Detective Johnson also interviewed him, but we did speak with his probation officer, yes.
And did you do any investigation into his relationship with Mr. Sharp?
No, sir.
Did you investigate what type of motive he may have had?
No, sir.
Is it your understanding that his fingerprint was found on a knife there?
Yes, sir.
Is it your understanding that he was there on that day?
Yes, sir.
You're aware of his criminal background?
I believe Detective Johnson ran a criminal history on him, yes.
But obviously, if he's seeing a probation officer, there must have been some history there.
Yes, he's had to do something to, for him to be seeing a probation officer, yes.
No further questions.
Agent Wilson, were you able to determine where Mr. Tetherow was the afternoon this crime occurred?
He was meeting with his probation officer in, I believe it's Jacksboro in Campbell County, Tennessee.
Campbell County is about how far from here?
According to Google Maps, it's 2 hours and 42 minutes from Whipple City Hall,
And what time was he meeting with his probation officer?
4:30 Eastern Time.
So that would have been 3:30 Central Time.
That is correct.
And Agent Wilson, you and Detective Johnson interviewed the probation officer?
I spoke with him on the phone, yes.
Were you satisfied Mr. Tetherow was 2.5 hours away when this crime occurred?
According to his probation officer, yes.
Thank you.
Well, that's according to his probation officer, which you did a phone interview, correct?
That is correct.
There are all sorts of ways of tracking people by cell towers and stuff like that, correct?
Yes.
You didn't do that in this case.
No, sir, I didn't.
You do that in many cases, don't you?
I have done it before, yes.
And basically, the strength of his motive would have maybe determined how much you would have looked into the crime? Or looked into his alibi?
I'm not sure he had a motive.
Well, were you aware that they did business together?
Yes, he told us that he did business with Mr. Ridge.
Did he tell you that there was money that Mr. Ridge lent Mr.
We're deep into hearsay at this point. State's objection.
I have no further questions.
You have a question?
No, Your Honor.
Hey, thanks for your step down.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2:18. What we'll do is we'll take a break until 2:35, and then we'll start having conversations. Remember my instructions to you not to discuss the case among yourselves. All right, everybody rise, please. Stand recess till 2:35.
Can we approach a quick second?